Oh, there, okay. And we are live
Let's go.
for episode 3. This is our third one of the day already. So episode 3 of the On the Road with Behind a ToolBelt, Win the Storm 2024, the rebirth, the phoenix of Win the Storm. I'm here with my friend, the Roof Don Marcus.
What's
my
up?
friend, how the hell are you?
Man, I am doing fantastic.
Great. That's good to hear.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad we were able to actually connect this time.
Me too.
I think the last time I saw you was last year at IRE.
Yep.
And I know you were trying like hell to get on. You were patient. Thank you for not hating on me, because I think some people get upset, but I think you understood.
Oh, 100%.
My head was spinning, and people were just coming at me like from everywhere. It was almost a little bit too much.
It's overwhelming. When you set up like this, people almost throng you. They want to be heard.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that you got to roll with the punches. Just like when I walked up, you were like, let's do it now.
Yes.
And I respect that out of you, and
Thank you.
I have since started podcasting in the last year, and I look up to you, the way in which that you operate. You guys move this around, and this is literally just a force of nature. I mean, it literally is. It's a production. You have brought your studio where you're at. There's nothing that's here that isn't studio quality.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And I do, man, I respect the heck out of what you have built.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I mean, and that means a lot to me coming from you, because you're obviously a big influence in our space right now. So to hear that come from you, thank you.
I appreciate that.
Because most of the time we only hear the bad things, but
Right.
and thank you. And I look at things as living, breathing organisms.
Yeah.
Whether your business, whether your culture, whether a system, whether a process, our podcast is a living, breathing thing. So it grows.
Yeah.
Changes. Sometimes it needs a haircut.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to clip its nails.
Yep.
You got to pivot. You got to deviate. So that's how this thing is kind of blossomed and has grown into what it is today, because it gives us fulfillment. I know Vic's passion and Javi and some of the other road crew, the guys behind the lenses, obviously they love what we do.
Yeah.
And each time we go someplace, I've been known to begrudgingly have to go to Guitar Center.
Something breaks. You didn't bring the right cord.
Yeah.
You didn't bring enough batteries.
Right.
One of the lights goes out. These are just the things that I've learned
Right.
in the last year. And
Yeah.
you got to have a healthy respect for that store, because
Heck yes.
you can just go in there and grab. And if you're in a major city, they pretty much have one everywhere,
Absolutely.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Best Buy's has become one of my best friends. Best Buy, and when I was being kind of sarcastic when I said begrudgingly, because normally I go to get an HDMI cord and I come back with like
Oh yeah,
a
$5,000 worth of stuff.
yes, so
Yeah.
that's why it was begrudgingly had to go to. So I was waiting for that moment. I think it was yesterday. It was like, okay, when do I get to go to Guitar Center now, guys? So we got a couple of new lights that turned out to be a little too bright for some of our neighbors.
Okay.
In their booth, so they asked us to turn them down a little bit.
Well, it's respectful that you did.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we don't want to be a nuisance. We
Yeah.
want this to be an asset, and not necessarily a liability for anything. But let's have a conversation
Yeah.
about what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Because I know you're in the roofing space, and for those that are watching this that may not know why you're the Roof Don.
Yeah.
You know
All
what I mean?
right.
And
So
then-
I'll start with that.
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of people think that I came up with that myself, and I didn't. Roof Don was born at Win the Storm conference.
Love it.
I brought my sales reps with me, and I had just bought a new 3-piece suit, and I just bought a new truck. It was one of my dream trucks at that time, an F-150.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really nice, and they were taking some photos, and we took some photos together. Prop the phone up and do a group photo,
Mm-hmm.
and then one of my sales reps, he's like getting into some pictures, and I'm like, all right, bro, all right. And he's like, no, just let me. And he goes, dude, you look like a gangster. three-piece suit, you know. He goes, wait, hold on. A dawn. Wait. The roof dawn. And that was it. It stuck there. It was Louisiana when Money Mayweather came. And so I started to build a brand around that. Now, you know, before that, you know, I've been in the industry now 11 years. And I started with Lee Haight's uncle, Marty Haight, at RRSA. People consider him, Marty, as one of the godfathers of the industry. God rest his soul. He was a great individual, taught me a lot of things. I outgrew their organization very quickly, as well as I learned how difficult storm contracting is on a mass scale. When you go from Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas, Texas, right? Just for sake of argument, because you guys probably have not heard where I'm from, Lake Whitney. But let's just say Dallas, right? When you go from Dallas to like Exton or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that is a trek. And when you're not used to it, it's a strain on your body, it's a strain on your mind, it's a strain on your relationships. And I have a family of three, a family of four, but three at the house. And so it was a struggle. And I battled with alcoholism and addiction. And that's something that was super, super grippy in my life, was that I made these excuses while I was on the road to not communicate with my family unit or skip those calls. And I had to come to a place of absolute desperation. It's something in AA they call the desperation of a dying man. And I needed to get to that point to understand that I couldn't do this, that I needed someone else. And I'll get off the soapbox, but this is crucial to my life. And so I decided to make a change. I joined AA, and that was about 3.5 years ago. I went from living in Central Texas to moving to Houston, and a lot of people were just like, okay, you moved to Houston, and didn't understand why. You know, I was in Central Texas, I had a company, and then all of a sudden I'm in Houston. Well, I had one of those knocks. CPS came to my door, and I got the chills. Every single time I was good. That time I tested 770 on a scale of 1,000 for cocaine. They made me vacate my home immediately. I could not even have contact with my children. No FaceTime, nothing. And at that point was that desperation. It broke me. And so I needed a place. I needed someone's help. And a friend down in Houston said, bro, come on down. He put me up, and that's when my recovery started. You know, alcoholism is a heavy, heavy hold on a lot of people's lives. And to each their own. If you can go about and you can have one drink. My wife's one of those people. She can have a drink, put it away. She can have a liquor bottle in the refrigerator or the freezer or whatever for a year, 2 years. I can't do that. I have to drink the whole thing, and then I'm out banging lines of cocaine later. And so that's why I stay away from it. And that's the long of it, right? Like, I came into the industry from key people and traveled around until I got to a point in my life in which that I was broken, I was broke, and I was across the nation. And in that time, you know, I came to realize that it's not all about me. And that this industry is not here to just serve me. And that's what I had looked at it, that it was to serve me and to serve my purpose only. So yeah, so that's kind of like the background.
Yeah.
Didn't really answer the question completely.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
No. It's okay.
But what I do now is completely different than what I thought I was going to do. I was a roofing contractor for 11 years. So I traveled all over the nation and I did this thing. And then I reached out for lunch with my distributor. And I said, hey man, let's negotiate our rebate. Everybody likes rebates, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves rebates.
That's
All right.
That's right.
So we're sitting down, talking about our rebate. Big shout out Jeff Schmeckel and Darren Bro at Roofing Supply Incorporated. Thank you so much for what you do for me, and giving me a purpose really that was different. I I just announced that I was interested in a podcast, and he's like, dude, go talk to my partner. We've got some equipment. I was there at 6 a.m. the next day. And he's like, no, my partner didn't say anything, but come on in, right? So we sat down, we went over everything, and next thing you know, they sponsor me to podcast full-time in their location in Houston, Texas, and advert, to do all different kinds of things, right? Sell materials and help contractors and help them grow. And so now I use my podcast as a conduit to sell materials to contractors, to help contractors with insurance claims, be it if they need a public adjuster or if they need a law firm. And I make that referral for them. These people are not just people that shook a dollar bill in my face. These are people that I used professionally across my 11-year career so far as a contractor. So now in the last year, I've been able to help grow and change lives in many ways in which that I thought I'd never be able to do.
Wow. No, that was so good. There was so much good stuff that you said there. I'm not even sure where to begin. So the road to recovery, been there, did that. And it's funny how conversations, when you ask somebody a question, sometimes you think it's just going to be like a clear cut response. Yeah, my friends and I were out hanging out, and they just called me the roof don. But that whole journey into that, and when you were talking about that, I thought to myself, in your career up to this point now, you've created what's called a personal brand, right?
Yes.
So how important of a role has that played in your success of, I guess, being a servant, as you will, as you mentioned, that you're here to serve, right? That you finally identified that 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. That, I was a taker.
Right.
Right. Like a lot of us are or were.
Yep.
But now I've been given that extended warranty.
Right.
Right. It's given a second chance, in that I've been here to serve others. So forgot where I was going with that.
Well,
kind of good. So
okay.
My question was personal brand. I
right.
guess.
Yeah. So personal brand, super important. I would say it's paramount to the success that I've had. It is paramount to the position that I have at Roofing Supply Incorporated down in the Houston marketplace, where you can get your shingles directly from me. Because if I didn't have that brand, the CEO would have never called me and said, hey, you're really good at Facebook. Why don't you do it for roofers? And there wouldn't have been any kind of growth. The podcast wouldn't be around. And to be quite frank, a lot of the relationships that I've formed have been directly associated with a persona that I have, right? And let's just say that we all have a persona, right? Especially when we come to an event like this. Your tie you have built behind the ToolBelt, this is a absolute work of art. So, you have that aura about you, right? Whereas on my side of things, that's why I like working with public adjusters and lawyers, that I've made a name for working with insurance companies. And so that's what I like to bring to the market. And if I wouldn't have built the brand, it would have I don't think anything of this would, for me, would be relevant.
Right.
It's how I stay relevant. And I think that I know that if you're in business and you don't have both a personal brand and a business brand that here in the next 10 to 15 years, you are going to fade out. And I would say probably you're going to start to fade out within the next 5 years because AI has taken hold of the marketplace. And if you stay stuck in your old ways, you're going to be washed away.
For sure. For sure. No, I agree 100%. You know, brand in itself, professionally or personal brand, you know, something I guess years ago, I didn't really understand, didn't even know of brand, right? But you know, social media and working in personal development and things like that, reading books, listening to podcasts and stuff like that. I was like, and I started to understand what brand was, and then differentiating the two, you know, personal, you know, from professional brand and stuff like that. So you know, the TC Backer brand itself, you know, what does it stand for? What do people think of us?
Yeah.
Right. Is what the brand is, and it's funny, because we can get down all kinds of rabbit holes on this. And one thing that we try to do is create a culture where our team has become our brand.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're the face.
Super crucial.
Yeah. They're the ones screaming from the rooftops. It's a great place to work. So it's helped us not only gain homeowners' attention because of value in their brand and things like that, but it has also helped us recruit people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, and then having like a personal brand, which I didn't realize there was even such a thing until I started to research a little more, read a couple more books, and listened to a couple more podcasts, and it was like, you know, I guess I have developed a personal brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we need to lean into a little bit, and Vic and I have talked about it, you know, a lot, like, you know, because we weren't doing like little reels and stuff like that. We weren't doing those little things to gain traction on, you know, and personal brand's just as important as the professional brand, because, you know, homeowners, we have a YouTube channel.
Yep.
So my personal brand is on YouTube. Well, our salespeople tell us all the time, like, you know, this homeowner
video
follows you on YouTube, which has given us the authority.
Yep.
We are the professionals in our area.
More so than your competition.
Yes.
Yep.
Because of a silly little podcast. Yeah. In some people's eyes. That's why I quoted silly.
I get that. And I feel that, because I feel, you know, some people, when they look at a podcast, they feel that, and I get this a lot. So ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is not about me. This is not about Ty. This is about you. And if you can grow and you can benefit, then we have done our jobs. And so, you know, when you look at a podcast the next time, look at it in a different respect, that this guy isn't cutting reels of himself and a guest because he likes to see himself. A lot of the times we don't like going through that. It's listening to ourselves. And if you sit there and, I mean, just boom, 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 and like doing a reel to make it to where we want it to be, sometimes you hear that audio 1,000 times. So trust me, I don't want to hear myself speak. What I would like to do is I'd like to help change your life. And I know that's what you do.
Absolutely. And that's what this is about, you know, and that's where the true impact comes from. When you can remove yourself from this and make it about everybody else that's listening or watching it, when you stop worrying about like how many ums and ands, we just talked about this probably twice in the past 2 podcasts that we did. But when I stopped worrying about like, how did I look? How did I sound? Doesn't really matter.
Nope.
Who cares what you sounded like?
Yep.
What were they hearing?
The best podcasts that I produce are the podcasts that I don't like.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just experienced this. Monday, I had a speaking engagement up in Utah, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
I didn't feel very confident about it.
I feel it.
I had 10 contractors come up to me afterwards. Okay, loved
That's
it.
perfect.
Talk to me more about this. And then after them, there was 5 more.
Oh. That's exactly.
So we spent more time answering questions for them. And so it took me a minute to realize, once again, I had to remind myself, it didn't really matter what I thought of it.
Yep.
Did not matter. The message was articulated in a way that they understood. They were more curious. They were more interested. They wanted more. Give us more.
Yep.
We're going to hang out, right? We didn't leave. They didn't leave. I would have. That's how I felt, after I was done.
They're
And it's like
hungry.
And I reminded myself again, it's like, dude, this wasn't about how pip slick or cool that I thought I might have been at the time. It had nothing to do with me. And the crazy thing about this is I prayed that morning. I was like, listen, God, please let me impact one person.
Yeah.
Let one person hear my message today so they can go back to their business, impact their team so then they can impact their families.
Yeah.
Dude, we 10x'd it. And
I
I
love
say
that.
we, because I'm never alone in this, right? Whether it's my higher power or it's the team that's behind us, it's never me.
Yeah.
It's we, that we crushed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we absolutely freaking crushed it. And I hope they ask us to come back because I am thrilled that the way that it went down was phenomenal. And then because I'm my own worst critic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We are.
Low I suffer from low self-esteem, sometimes not very confident, I'm insecure. A lot of that has to do with what you were talking about earlier, right? The self-worth, the self-awareness, the self-improvement, right? To go through the trenches and to pull ourselves out of those trenches. But unfortunately for a knucklehead like me, I had to lose everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I moved from Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, kind of the same story.
All right.
To York, Pennsylvania. I had to do a geographical change.
Okay.
To get my shit together.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I wish I could say, yep, been sober that whole time. Got a good chunk under my belt. I allowed all the pretty little things get in the way. Ended up going back out for about 9 months. Worst time of my life. Absolutely the worst time of my life. And
lucky you're alive.
Yep, 100%. 100% lucky. And that's why I said to you earlier, it's like, I'm on borrowed time.
Yeah.
That you get those spam calls all the time. Would you like to extend your warranty? I've been given that extended warranty. And what am I going to do with that? Am I going to take it for granted?
I love that.
Am I going to ignore it? Or am I going to finally realize, right, that, because people are like, what is my purpose? What our purpose is to serve.
Yeah.
So I can't take advantage of, I need to take advantage of the extended warranty.
Yep.
Okay, so I've been given a second chance for a reason.
Yeah.
The reason is I don't know if it was exactly to start a podcast or not.
Yeah.
Create a roofing business, but okay, those were the gifts that were given to me. So I'm going to use them to impact other people and to inspire other people, to give them safety, security, whether to be.
Let me up this up. Let me take this up a notch.
Yeah, do it.
In the Bible, it says, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin.
I love that. Love that. That was good.
I got the chills.
Yeah, me too. That was good. That was good.
You're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if the only reason were to serve God and to do that through your business and your podcast, it's enough.
No doubt.
But there's much more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're just getting started. We're just getting started.
I think that when you realize those things, it's hard for you to lose.
Mm-hmm.
God said that he'd never give us anything that we couldn't handle.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure.
Job lost everything. I thank God that I didn't have to go through everything that Job went, or maybe even that you did.
Yeah.
We all went through our own thing, which brought us to where we're at now.
100%. I needed every single bump and bruise along the way to be where I'm at today, to become who I am today.
I think that's a beautiful story. When people look at why you use your voice, they have to hear these things, because that's the reason. It's some of the sole reasons why, I started mine too, right? I wanted to change. I wanted to help change people And I mean, in that time, I mean, it was a lunch with Bill Walsh. Thank you, Bill Walsh. Kind of woke up, at that lunch. Um, and I decided that, like you said, I wasn't gonna take it anymore. I wanted to bring something back, and that's a crucial place in a lot of our lives.
For sure. It is. It's a crossroad, and unfortunately, it's never a good idea until we think it's a good idea. And what pain's a huge motivator.
It is.
And through pain, though, comes growth, and sometimes begrudgingly as it is, for a knucklehead like me, I have to experience it. But sometimes not as much as I used to. A lot of pain before I get off my dead ass and I do something about it. Stop taking, be a giver, have positive impact on people's lives, as many people as we possibly can. And see, that's the secret ingredient to success. If you want to categorize success as being wealthy or whatever, but success and wealth doesn't always have to be monetary.
Yep.
Okay. I'm talking successful family. My son's here with me today. If I was still running and gunning, Rocket we wouldn't even be here, let alone Rocket would be with me. Jana is at home with our grandkids and our daughter and our 3 dogs and our 3 cats, and we could
take a time to thank the wives.
Yeah.
Babe, thank you for watching the kids every day. I mean, not watching, like, they do something different with children that is just I don't even know how to explain it.
Right.
Like, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. Thank you, Gianna, if you're watching out there. Rocket's still safe and healthy, and looks like he's having a good time over there. So, thank you for allowing me for the opportunity to take Rocket so far away from home.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for, behind every good man, there's a great woman.
Yep.
I honestly believe that. She doesn't get enough credit, Gianna. Doesn't, and she's the she's the glue that holds everything together. I mean, she really does, and I don't mind giving her the credit for that.
I love that. Yeah, my wife watches basically every live stream. She makes sure the audio's good. She makes sure that the lips are in sync. And I mean, there's been times where I had 30 minutes of no audio, just visual, and it was live. And so I've got people blowing me up, and, we're sitting here, if we make an illustration with our phone, we may pick it up and we may see the notifications, but we're not sitting there texting or anything like that. So I had some notifications. I didn't know it, but, she saved me from a lot of, my own destruction. Just gonna say that, but, it is what it is. Thank you.
Yeah. No
Sarah,
doubt.
love you.
No doubt.
Dude, I'm here. I want to make that very apparent. I am here at Win the Storm.
Yes.
I got my badge. Okay, this is legit. My badge, Roof Dawn. All right, I'm here. I made some posts, some controversial stuff. I think that it's important to see the bigger picture. And I got like 25 calls from people that were just like, just come. I want to see you. And I said, all right. I reached out to Mike. Mike gave me a ticket. Thank you, Mike Martinez, for hooking me up and getting me a ticket. That way I can come and see for myself really what's going on here. I got a little bit of, a little bit of hell walking in, I didn't know exactly what I could say. Sorry for cussing. But, it's to be expected. I caused some controversy. But really, I've loved Win the Storm. I have been to a lot of the Win the Storms. The connections that I've made at Win the Storm have been paramount to the success in my business, as well as my personal brand. As we said earlier, it was born at Win the Storm. So for me to say I'm not coming because of whatever was, in my opinion, now kind of jaded, because I needed to give it a chance. Mike and Larry And Josie, you guys have done a great job.
Amazing.
There are people here that are hungry to learn and to better themselves and to grow. And that is what Win the Storm has symbolized for a very long time. You guys did a good job, and I'm glad that I came. So again, Mike, Larry, and Josie, you did an awesome job. Thank you for putting on Win the Storm this year here in Dallas. That way I can come here, and a lot of people did as well because it's a nice central location.
It is very nice. And yeah, 10x what you just said. You know, Josie, Hammer,
Yep.
phenomenal. All of them, the entire team. They've treated us like royalty. I'll be honest with you. I mean, and it's been great experience. I don't even know how many people are here. I have no idea. They pulled it off in just a couple months. Kudos to everybody on the team, and this, you know, when the storm started, it all for me as well, Jana and myself, to really open my eyes to the personal branding thing. And I mean, you know what I mean? There was so much going on. Things I didn't quite understand, but wanted to know about, and knew I wasn't alone anymore. But kudos to those guys. This is probably a good place right here for us to wrap this up. We just did 3 back to back, and I'm gonna have to go to the little boys' room here shortly. But
dude, thank you for bringing me on.
Yeah.
Again, you know, we've tried to do this a few times.
Yeah. No, it worked out. Timing was great.
I can't wait to have you on mine.
Timing is everything.
Oh, let me tell you, my wife tells me that every day.
No doubt.
Every day.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
for
it.
the support. All right, everybody, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook, Google, Apple, Spotify, Stay
LinkedIn,
tuned.
Twitter,
Yeah, all the above.
X, all of it. Let's go.